as much as you try to prep to come home, there is no prepping. All you can attempt to do is to try to have these scenarios play out in your head on how you're going to respond. When the thing happens, the way your body reacts is totally something different that you don't always have control of. So coming home was very, very hard. One, because, just kind of how people are so disconnected out here. I say disconnected in the sense that they're removed from themselves. Not all the time, right? You will find gems. I call them gems because there are these rarities of people that have a good sense of self, that are not caught up in the BS, isn't like social media image or what others think about them. But it's so hard because you're the anomaly. You're somebody who has did all this have that has done all this interpersonal work, and then somehow it's like it's not recognized, and it's also it's kind of like captured as being too much, right? Like you're too much. Like I would say, you understand yourself too well and what you want to do, and most people don't understand that. It becomes a barrier sometimes, and it's really really tough because re-engaging with family members, re-engaging with community members. Like I don't think that they will fully understand that there's this weird like these weird fears that you still continue to balance, which is, I'm out here, but also I don't know how to exist out here. And a piece of me in my heart still, it's inside still. And so you as an individual trying to balance all that and trying to find some sanity and say, hey, you know what? I know I don't want to be back inside, but I miss my peoples that are still inside. I want to be out here, but I'm not necessarily like too fond of the people out here. And so you come to this like neutral zone with what do you do? And for me, that has meant reinvent yourself, figure out what works for you, um, finding, continue to do what you've been doing in there, which for me was continue to find people that I can relate to. Most of these people that are, are people that have been incarcerated, that chose education, that chose not to be deemed as workers like all the single time and use manual labor to represent who they are and what their capabilities are. I continue to be around those who are thinkers, and people who don't get caught up in this weird sphere of, hey, you're formerly incarcerated, trauma first, selling our narratives, our traumas, commodifying our traumas, I would call it. Not getting lost in that. Understanding that you don't have to do everything. You don't have to say yes to speaking engagements. You don't have to try to obtain a specific image of what everybody thinks that you can do. Maybe you can do it. Maybe you know that you can do it, but maybe you choose not to. And it being okay that if I want to come home and if I want to work at a regular 9 to 5 job in a fast food restaurant, that's completely okay. At the end of the day, it's going to be any day inside there. And a lot of people don't understand that. And for me, I've seen the damage that this ideology of success has placed on a lot of people coming home. I think it's sad. I think it's hurtful. And I see that people don't come from a bad place. I know they see the potential, but that potential is not yours, it's theirs. It's for them to decide whether they want to do it. And and that's the hard part of being a supporter is, knowing when to step back. I like to exist as an individual, and I like to be able to have a decision on which groups I get to belong to. Growing up, I felt like that wasn't a choice I necessarily had. And, for me, it's important to not put that first because I do not like to be measured based off of my history. And I know that folks may, or at least mainstream media may say, hey, we support people like this. We appreciate you. We're here to support you. But I know that the moment people find out that I'm formerly incarcerated, there's a shift. Whether it's deliberate or not, whether it's intentional or not, it's there. And one thing I like to people, just take me in as who I am, right? Because I'm a strong believer that, hey, doesn't matter. It matters in some scenarios, it has an impact, but I feel like I could just be an individual.